Hello, Kansas and Western fans. It's time for update number 24 of the construction of the Kansas and Western HO scale model railroad. Big update today, lots to show you. So we will start from the beginning to make sure we don't miss anything. Starting over here at the real Gorge Route, nothing new in this area. In order to move forward here, I basically just need to add the backdrop. You can see the line there where I left off. So I just need to finish adding masonite along this back wall and then block that off so you can't see the helix. And then I can get that portal maybe installed so I can figure out how I'm going to blend that into the scene. And then once that's done, basically just start getting track weathered, base weathered anyway, and start putting forms in for some scenery. And moving around down here to the corner and into Canon City, you can see I've got a big switch lead installed there. That backtrack for that rock company is not attached yet. It's just laid out for now. But in here, you'll see that I got Portland cement all done. All the track is laid for that, and it looks really sharp, I think. I still have to get it wired, but I should have all that done by the time you guys finish voting for this weekend. But that worked out just like I thought. I did end up having to work on the structures a little bit more because at this end area here, there's this little transfer conveyor that I had to make sure I had room for when this building kind of juts out, because I was going to lay the tracks all fairly the same length. And as you can see, that structure juts out there a little bit. So I couldn't do that. So I just had to kind of throw some more of these structures together just to make sure everything would fit, but it looks pretty good the way it is. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And then moving around, I got a little more organizational work done here. A couple shelves put up for some of my paints. So that cleans this area up a little bit better. So I really like how that's working out. And of course that corkboard's been added. So that's helping when I do structure kits to put the plans up. And then moving around over here to Pueblo, I've gotten some more track laid here. Really just this siding next to the main line, and I still have to do this kind of runaround track. But I decided to change up what I was going to do for Pueblo. I didn't like how I was tank car heavy on the layout in general with everything going on between the two levels. So I decided to go back to my original idea of the steel plant. But instead of trying to come up with the steel plant kit, which apparently Walthers doesn't make anymore and it's hard to find, I decided to do what others have done and do the backdrop to represent the plant, which obviously that's not done yet. But bearing that in mind, what that frees me up to do is all the yard area for those plants. And I've printed off some pictures from Google Earth here, and you can kind of see there's all kinds of spurs, and you can see parts of the older part of the plant there on the left. But there's all kinds of spurs where gondolas come in with all kinds of scrap material, and they're emptied and then sorted. You can see the different colors indicating different types of scrap. So that's what I'm going to do here. And you can see I kind of have this laid out. I'm not going to have a lot of tracks because there's not a lot of room to allow for track and then material piles, but that's kind of what I penciled in here, is there'll be different kinds of piles. This track won't be laid for a while because I need to buy some track hose with the magnets on them so I can see how that's all going to fit. I'm going to have to probably put some scrap piles together to get an idea for how they'll fit in the space, because I obviously don't want everything too close together so it wouldn't realistically work. But then another part of the same plant, which is a little bit farther away, if you can see in this photo, there's a whole row of tanks from tank cars and some old hoppers there. It looks to me that like they recycle rail cars here. And you can kind of see they're all kind of separated out with another track hoe, probably with some kind of grappling hook on the beginning or on the end of it to tear those apart. So I'm going to try to represent some of that too. I thought that would be kind of interesting. So a lot of details that I'm going to need to get and lay out so I can figure out exactly how this track is going to work. But it's a very intriguing idea, I think. I haven't seen too much of that on layouts. So instead of worrying about trying to put that big structure together for the steel plant, we'll just throw that on the backdrop and then do everything else around it out here. So kind of excited about that. Long way to go to get that developed. The structure here in the corner that was going to be something else, I can't remember what it was, that will be part of the steel plant now. A place where, you know, maybe they can start breaking down some of that stuff, a smelter maybe. So I will keep that, but otherwise, kind of looking forward to what this area will end up looking like. Anyway, moving on. Nothing new here in the yard. And follow the main line around to Lamar. Nothing new in this area either. Although I did come up with a new idea for how I'm going to do the refinery. I did go ahead and buy that Micro Mark, which is the company I couldn't think of last video. Their little mini table saw. So I have that available. So I think what I'm going to do is take a Walther's grain silo kit and be able to cut the silos down so they'll fit right up against the backdrop, which is what I wanted to do originally, but wasn't sure how I was going to cut those neatly. But now I have the table saw, so I think I can work on that. So probably get rid of the PVC here, and then of course there's going to be other things around it, but new idea for that. I'm looking forward to trying that out too. And follow the main around Holly, around to Holly. Nothing new here. And then up to the Holcomb power plant area. I did kind of finish the end of that conveyor, so that kind of changed my mind into how I'm going to represent where the coal cars will unload. I had bought a kit for that purpose, and didn't realize with the end of this conveyor it has kind of this concrete structure where the conveyor goes underground, so that might free up some possibilities as to how I'm going to make that look with these tracks. So one track will be just for unloading, another one will be for spare storage for cars, but that's kind of opened my mind a little bit to what can be done. And I still have to build the conveyors to represent how else this thing will develop, but that's why I haven't laid any more track here, is I still have yet to make sure that everything's going to fit the way I want. And then around here to Garden City, since I got rid of the fuel terminal for Pueblo, I've got that kit up here now. So that's going to help me flesh this scene out quite a bit more. And then over here, I think, will be the animal feed facility there. Moving around to Charleston. Nothing new in this area. You know, this time I remember the name of it, Charleston Elevator. And then around the corner here to the Wichita Industrial Yard, or Industrial Park. What I did get done here is this small 2-track yard. Haven't got the spurs installed yet. Those are structure and other details reliant. So I won't get those attached for a while until I get some more kits bought and built. But these 2 tracks here will be done, or they are done. Just have to wire those, but again, that's something else I should be able to get done this weekend. So don't worry about voting for wiring track. I'll get all that knocked out while you guys vote this weekend. And moving into the Wichita yard on the BNSF side. Nothing new in this area. And we'll move around the end so you can see the other side. This will be the UP side of the yard. Still have to figure out some more kits in this corner. The PVC that's standing here represents some grain silos that I plan to install. I'm going to try to block off this view between the 2 yards as much as I can, just to further separate the scene, just like the main elevator does, because I really think it makes the layout seem a lot bigger. So I'm going to try to put some more grain bins in this little area here as much as I can, make it look logical, but see how much of this view here I'll be able to block off. And moving around here to Towanda, nothing new in there. And then we move down the main line towards El Dorado. More work needs to be done on the Mears fertilizer plant before I can lay these spurs. But I do have these 2 yard tracks for El Dorado installed and wired, so they work. And then I just have to get to work on these kits here for Barsol and BG Products, so I can get the 2 spurs on the other side of the main line laid for those. And then this here is the yard throat for the El Dorado refinery. Again, totally relying upon structures to get completed, so I understand how I have space and how the track will interact with all those things. So nothing new in the El Dorado refinery area. Moving around to the other side. If you saw my operational video from yesterday, you saw all this track works. This lift out bridge works about as good as I could have hoped for, so I'm really happy. That was my first attempt on this. Doesn't look like much, but I plan to install some of this fabric to kind of hide it. And then I got the Union Tank Car Company. All these tracks are installed and working as per my video showed yesterday, or the day before, I can't remember which, but everything works great here. This switcher this will be the home of this Missouri Pacific switcher. It will stay down here, but all these tracks are laid. I still have to build 2 more structures for shops. Where this white tank car is will be located one location, and then another one here. You can kind of see it penciled in for another shop. So a lot of switching opportunities here for an operator just to move cars in and out of these separate shops, depending on what kind of work they require. And if you saw the video, this middle track will be the arrival track for new deliveries. And then as cars get their work orders completed, they'll be stowed on this track here down the middle, or down this left side, for outgoing trains to come in. So plenty of room there. Really happy how this whole thing turned out, especially since it was an afterthought. This was not part of the original plan, but when I just kept staring at this space over here, I thought, what the heck, and it's turned out pretty well. So I'm happy with that. So it is time for the vote. That's about it for now. Everybody will be allowed to vote until Sunday at midnight this coming weekend, Central Time. Looking forward to everybody's opinions, but I will reiterate, track is basically done. And if you notice, the title of the video, primary track work is complete. All areas of the layout are now reachable by trains. All that's left is for spurs to be completed. But every single spur that's not completed is totally reliant upon structures or details to be added, so I can figure out space requirements. So sorry, track guys. I know you guys have been controlling the vote for the most part, but as a result, I've gotten most of it done. So that's very exciting. I did not imagine it would take me less than a year to lay this much track. So that's blowing my mind, but everything is going very well. So I look forward to what everybody has to say for this next video update. I'll shoot an update video Monday after the polls close Sunday night, so everybody can see what the winning vote was, and I will show you what all I plan to work on. So thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate all the comments and questions. Have a good weekend.